Hey guys, Zach here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Legacy Collection Gallimimus. Now, in my opinion, this is the best Gallimimus figure of all time, at least in the Jurassic Park toy line. The Battle Damage Gallimimus was good, but it wasn't really to my standards. This is, to me, is much better. Plus, I don't know if this was just me, but the Battle Damage Gallimimus just seemed a little bit fatter compared to this. This looks perfectly thin, so I like that a lot. There was an Attack Pack Gallimimus, but that thing didn't really look great as well. It couldn't even stand, so yeah, I didn't really like that figure. And of course, there was the original Jurassic Park Series 2 Gallimimus, which looked bad. It honestly looked pretty bad. And I love Kenner, don't get me wrong, but they definitely made some not great looking figures. For example, the Series 2 Baryonyx. Wasn't really a big fan of the, how that figure looked. And even the Bonebreaker Carnotaurus, like, as you know, I love the Carnotaurus, but the Bonebreaker Carnotaurus from the Lost World is just kind of not really great to me. However, that figure is pretty rare and pretty expensive, so yeah. But yeah, no. Anyway, this figure is great, so yeah, I absolutely love this thing, so yeah. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into this. So first, we'll take a look at the painting on this figure, and the painting on this figure is pretty good. Not great, but still very good, so yeah. Anyway, most of the body is a bright tannish color, which does look nice. And we do have some orange stripes on the tail, on the back, and on the back of the neck right here, which does look very nice. And with those stripes, we do have some brown airbrushing, which again looks very nice. The eye is painted yellow with black pupil, as well as the other eye. And underneath we have the scan code right here, so if you want to scan, go ahead. And we have the new Jurassic World logo right here. And speaking of the underside of the figure, we have sort of like a brighter beige color, which does look nice. And honestly, that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. The fingernails and toenails aren't really painted, which is kind of a shame. And maybe just a little bit of purple on the back, just so we could kind of have that, like, Jurassic Park feel. But, because in Jurassic Park, it was very hard to see, but there actually was some purple on the back of the Gallimimus right here. But, yeah, no. The painting on this figure is still very nice. So the painting on this figure gets a pass. Anyway, now we'll take a look at the articulation. And the articulation, again, is good. So the Gallimimus can look up that much and down that much. The arms can move 360, and they can move upwards like so, and you can kind of get it in this bird pose. And truth be told, that does look a little goofy, but it feels fitting as well, considering that Gallimimus means ostrich mimic, I think. I could be wrong about that, but that's at least from what I remember, so yeah. Anyway, the tail is on a swivel right here. And as you notice, there's a button right here. And what you want to do is you want to push that, and the Gallimimus can pretty much run, which is honestly pretty cool. And that's something that the original Series 2 Gallimimus did, where if you push the button, the legs just kind of went like that, which wasn't really great. Here, it actually looks like it runs and it kind of like snaps back into place, so the figure can still stand up like so, yeah. And that's something I actually don't like about the Lost World Jurassic Park Parasaurolophus. I reviewed that all the way, I think, April? Either April or March, but I reviewed it sometime then, and the gimmick was you pushed a button and it made the legs move, but unfortunately that figure could not stand. This can stand pretty well, even with the button, so yeah, I like that a lot. Plus, for some reason, I don't know why, but it feels really good to push this button. I don't know why, there's just something about pushing this button that just feels really satisfying to me, but yeah, no. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. And the articulation, not a lot, but considering the gimmick, I'd say that it still works pretty nicely, so the articulation gets a pass. Anyway, now we'll take a look at the sculpting on this figure. And the sculpting on this figure, I think, is pretty much perfect. This looks a lot like the Crash McCreary artwork for Jurassic Park, because he actually made some sketches for the Gallimimus, and to me, this looks a lot like said artwork. Everything here looks very nice. And I honestly don't really have a lot of complaints about the sculpting here, so yeah. Sculpting on this figure is pretty much perfect, so it gets a pass. Anyway, now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing, again, is good. So starting off at the head, the detailing here looks good. All the scaling is actually pretty nicely defined. And we do have some creasing going down the neck, which looks nice, and even a bit of musculature right here. So, yeah, I like that. But anyway, going to the arms right here, we have more musculature, which does look nice. And the arms, again, look nice. Going down the body, we have more creasing. And if we go to the legs, we have more creasing, and we do have a fair bit of musculature right here. And everything here looks very nice. And I know this isn't really, much about the detailing and more along the lines of the sculpt, and I should have probably brought this up earlier, but I really like how the feet look on this figure. To me, that looks a lot like an emu, and that looks very nice to me. It doesn't look like the traditional dinosaur foot. This thing looks like, at least like the feet, look a lot like an emu's feet, and I really like that a lot. So, the feet look great, and the detailing on the feet as well look nice. And if we go to the tail here, we have some creasing and a bit of musculature, which looks nice. We do have kind of a seam right here, but that's for the articulation in the tail. But other than that, the detailing on this figure is great. So the detailing on this figure gets a pass. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? I'd say definitely. As I said before, this is the best Gallimimus figure out of any Jurassic Park toy line. The Series 2 Gallimimus, it just looked weird. In my opinion, the Attack Pack Gallimimus wasn't really great, and the Battle Damage Gallimimus was good, but it's not as good as this. This Gallimimus is honestly the best Gallimimus figure of all time, and I absolutely love this thing. This thing is great. As I said this before, the Legacy Collection is a Target exclusive line, so if you don't want any of the Legacy figures, you do have to go to Target to buy them. And if you want this figure originally retailed for about $10, which honestly isn't bad for what you're paying for. This is a great figure. And lately, I actually haven't been seeing this at my local Targets, so yeah. I don't know if these guys are just out of stock or just done. I don't know what's going on, but if you walk into a Target and you find this and you don't have this already, then please pick it up. This thing is honestly a great figure. Or if you want to get it on eBay, it might be a bit pricier, but yeah, I'd say just buy it at the store, because scalpers are kind of a problem, but yeah. Anyway, if you want to know how big this figure is, here it is next to Dr. Billy Grant, and these two actually scale fairly nicely with each other. My only complaint with this figure would have to be the scaling. It scales nicely with the human figures from the Jurassic World toy line, but unfortunately it does not scale nicely with the human figures by Kenner, so yeah. But anyway, that is pretty much it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zach out.